Welcome to Dvar Leah Torah class. So this today is a very special Yom Tov. Okay, the 15th of the month of is that the Mishnah tells us there's no great happier day to the Jewish people than the 15th of Av and Yom Kippur. Can you imagine? The day was even more happier, even greater than Yom Kippur. First, Mishnah mentions it first. What happened? The girls in the Yerushalayim used to dance in the fields and in the vineyards and say the girls, single girls, say bacher bacher, lift up your eyes and look. The bachelors who wanted to find a match, a shidduch, will go to their vineyards and see these girls, and they'll say bacher bacher, look at lift up your eyes and see, and the whole thing, how they used to try to entice the boys to get to marry them, and that was a day of marriage. So what's many special things happened that day. So actually our sages tell us there were six things in the Jewish history that happened on this day, on the 15th of Av, and that made this day a very special day. So let me just review them for you, and then we can go and talk about it a little bit and as we go along here. Okay, number one. Okay, the first thing that happened on the 15th of was, as you know, that when the spies came back, okay, and when Moses sent the spies to the land of Israel, and they came back with a very negative report, and they cried a lot. They cried a whole night. Actually, it was night of Tisha B'av, night of 9th of Av, and they said, "We don't go to the land of Israel." And God said, "You cried a night, you cried a night, cry for nothing. I'll make this night a cry for something." Right? I'll make a bechir. And that's actually when the two temples were destroyed and many other terrible, sad things happened to Jewish people. So that was on the 15th of Av. Okay? Now, God said, anyone who was counted, the first counting in the desert in the beginning of the 40 years will not enter the land of Israel. So anyone who was 20 to 60, so anyone who was entering the year of 60 or 59, entering in the 60th year, they will, on Tisha B'av, the night of, they'll, in the desert, they'll actually dig a grave and they'll lay down in the grave, and that's it. They passed. Then you wake up the next morning. And that's what happened every year. Okay? So every year, 15,000 Jews passed away on Tisha B'av. Okay? That went on for the next 39 years. Came the 40th year. Again, the people who are 59, they're in their 60th year. They dug their graves, and they went, that night. And surprisingly enough, the next morning they wake up. They didn't die. Hey, what's going on? Did we make a mistake with the night? Maybe we're not sure. Maybe we made a mistake with the date. So the following night they did the same thing, and they woke up in the morning. And the third night, which was already the 11th night, they did the same thing. They lay down, and you can guess what happened. They woke up in the morning. And as it went on, every night they did it until the 15th of the month, when they saw the full moon. Oh, we did not make a mistake. This was real. I mean, we did with the first time the night we said, well, the 9th of the decree is over, and we all can go to the land of Israel. So the time when the Jewish people realized that the decree of those who should die in the desert was over on the 15th of Av. That's the first celebration, the first specialty that happened on the 15th of Av. Number two, what happened was like this, that as you're probably aware, when the daughters of the women who are women rights, okay, the daughters of Tzalafchad, they didn't have any brothers, and they went and complained to Moshe. So we want to have a part in the land of Israel. Why should we be not? Why should our father's name be forgotten? We want a part of the land. And Moses said, okay, I'm going to ask Hashem, ask God. And God said, yes, they're right. They can have a portion in the land. Now, the tribe of Manasseh complained to Moshe. So it's not fair. Look, they have no their daughters. They're going to marry someone from a different tribe, and then part of our portion will go to a different tribe because the inheritance goes on the fathers or go to the other tribe. So one of these girls will marry someone from a different tribe, and then the part of our that belongs to us will go to another tribe. All right, God made a decree that you can only marry into your own tribe. Because you want a Jewish people, each tribe was only allowed to marry their own tribe. They couldn't marry someone from a different tribe. All right. Now that decree, that rule was abolished, was only for that generation. So when did they abolish that rule? They allowed to marry someone from a different tribe was on the 15th of on today. Like now you can have you can have Levi can marry a different tribe. You know, you can marry from different people. We're not really sure exactly which tribe we belong to. We're either from Yehuda, Binyamin, the other 10 tribes were missing, and Levites. So we can marry into each other. So that decree that you're not allowed to marry to another tribe actually was annulled on the 15th of. Okay, number 4. What happened? That there was it's a kind of a sad story, but I'll just go over it in a short in a short in short. Just the story was like this: that there was a fellow who had this wife who was like a concubine wife. It wasn't those days you're allowed to have that. Today, I mean, your wife is completely wife. You give her a super, you give her when you marry her a marriage contract, a proper wife. Those days they can have like a wife which was not complete, a wife, but not completely like with a ketubah like we have today, like now we always have. So anyway, so this person he traveled through the land of Israel. I think he went to the Shiloh, to the Mishkan, if I'm not mistaken. And on the way home, he wanted to travel. He was traveling home and it came dark. And he couldn't travel at night, you know. Those days he couldn't travel on the highway at night. There was no lights. He had to, whoever you came night, you had to stop. I had to find a place to lodge. He came to this town. Actually, it was in the portion of the land of Israel, which belonged to the tribe of Benjamin, and no one invited him in. Literally, no one invited him. He was left out there. Can you imagine? Need a place where to stay. Need a place where to spend the night. Finally, one person let them in. Let him in with his concubine wife, and then the people of the town found, hey, you have guests. What is this? Give them out to me. He made the whole town came crowding around his house to get, you know, they want what type of audacity, what type of this they have this person got to invite a guest. Almost the same as Sodom. Can you imagine? Anyway, this visitor sent out his concubine wife to them, and basically during the night they abused her. Saw his concubine wife laying by the front door. He didn't realize she was dead. He put on his wagon and went home. When he got home, he realized she was dead. He got so disappointed. He went and cut what he did. Gruesome. He went and cut his concubine wife in 12 parts. Can you imagine? And put it in all the 12 among all the tribe. Each part of his wife, he put in a different tribe of the Jewish people. Can you imagine? And when all the Jews, hey, what's this? What's this? Jewish people found out what happened. They were in disgrace. They were in alarm. How can the tribe of Benjamin do such a terrible thing? And they said to the tribe of Benjamin, you release that, give us those people who did it, and we will judge them. And the tribe of Benjamin said, no, we will not. We will not release the people who did such a crime. And if you don't release, we'll make a war against you. And the tribe said, okay, make a war. and there was a massive civil war. Can you imagine what went on? And the first day, the tribe of Benjamin won the war, and many Jews died. And then the second day and the third day had a war, and Benjamin, the tribe, very good soldiers. I think it was the fourth day, if I'm not mistaken. The Jewish people had, and they won, and they wiped out the tribe of Benjamin. They killed every single person, the men, women, children, the lot. The tribe of Benjamin was almost wiped out completely. There were 600 men left of the whole tribe. Can you imagine? And they all made an oath. They were so upset with the tribe of Benjamin that they said, "We're not going to marry our daughters. We're not going to marry into the tribe of Benjamin." Look, a terrible thing they did. And then when all the women and children were killed, and there were 600 people left of the whole tribe of Benjamin, the Jewish people regretted it. What did we do? We're going to wipe out one of the tribes of Jewish people. How can we do such a thing? And they all cried, and they and they mo, how are we gonna get rid of? How are we gonna get away of this oath that we did? And the whole story, how they found a way to get to bypass their oath, and they wanted to permit the tribe of Benjamin to marry into them again, and they gave a whole they counted who didn't come, and the whole story. I mean, it's a long story, but basically, the tribe of Benjamin was permitted to marry into Jewish people, and that actually happened on the 15th of. Okay, that's another. So that, and that's why King Shaul, for example, came from those 600 men. He was descendant. Mordechai was from tribe of Benjamin. Esther, they were all from those 600 surviving men of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, and then we got another thing what happened. Okay, I already told you 1, 2, 3, 4. Now another thing that happened was that that you see, as you probably are well aware, that the Jews had two separate kingdoms. Okay, you have the kingdom of after. See, King Shaul was the king of all the Jewish people. So David was David HaMelech. King David was king of all Jewish people. Shlomo, his son, all Jewish people. Then, when Shlomo passed away, then his son Rehoboam took over. When he became king, the Jewish people split into two kingdoms. The son of Shlomo, King Rehoboam, they divided the people. It was divided in two separate kingdoms, and you have the kingdom of king of, it's called Malchus Yehuda, the king of Judah, which was was two tribes, Yehuda, Judah, and Benjamin. And then the other 10 were called Malchi Israel, right? And they lived in the northern part of Israel. Who was their king? The first king they had was Yeravam ben Nevat. This Yeravam ben Nevat actually was a very, very, very smart fellow, and he was a really great scholar, and he was a very great person. But he is one problem he had, and that pulled him down. You know what it was? His ego. His ego was so great, and that's how he became such a terrible person, because of his ego. Actually, God said to him, "That's you, me, and the king and the king of Shevet Yehuda will walk together in Gan Eden, in paradise." And he said, "Who's going to be the head?" And God said, "Who's going to be?" So God said, "The kingdom, the king from Shevet Yehuda, the king of Shevet." I don't want it. He declined such an offer. Whatever that means, going together with God in paradise, whatever spiritual, whatever that means. But the point is that his ego pushed him down. So what did he do? What was the most terrible thing he did? Terrible thing he did was he knew when it's a mitzvah obligation that 3 times a year you go to the Beis Hamikdash, you go to the holy, you go to Jews, you have to go to the temple, Petach, Shavuot, Sukkot, Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Now the law is that no one's allowed to sit inside the Hazar. You're not allowed to sit inside the courtyard of the Beit Hamikdash, or temple. The only persons who permitted to sit in the courtyard is the king of the tribe of Yehuda. So Yeravam, the king of the rest of the Jewish tribes, said to himself, "Hey, what's going to happen? The Jews are going to go to the temple, and who's going to be sitting there? Not me, the other king. Hey, they'll say that I'm not the real king. I'll lose my legitimacy. I'll lose my respect. I can't let that happen. I cannot let the Jews go to the temple in Jerusalem and for the Yom Tov, for the holiday, and then my honor will be disregarded because the other king will be sitting there, not me. All right, no one's allowed to go to the temple. You imagine? And he put guards, and he made that he didn't let anybody go, any one of the 10 tribes go to Jerusalem. Okay, you have to serve something. What did he do? Actually, he did a terrible thing. He made idols. He made the Baal. He made an idol. One in Dan in the northern part, another one Beersheba, I think 2 different parts of Israel, and he made a holiday instead of Sukkot. He made another holiday in the month of Cheshvan, and he made the Jewish people serve idols, and that's why his sin was so bad that not only he sinned himself, he made other people sin. You see, if I sin myself, I can do tshuva on my sin. But if I made someone else do something wrong, how can I repent for someone else? Anyway, so for it was a while, maybe more, 100, 200, whatever, a couple of 100 years, they didn't let the Jewish people were not allowed to go to the Jerusalem. Only the tribe of Yehuda and Benjamin. Then came a king. His name was from the king of Yisrael, the 10 tribes. You see, the king of 10 tribes were not son after son. It was any of the whatever it was, whoever was appointed king. It wasn't a dynasty like the tribe, like the kings of Yehuda, all descendants of David. So there was a king. His name was Hoshea ben Allah, and he removed the guards, the soldiers, whatever they were, and let anyone from the tribe from Yehud, from the 10 tribes, to permit them to go to Jerusalem, to go to Jerusalem, to Jerusalem. He took away the gate, the guards, the police, whatever, the guards, the police, the soldiers, whatever they were. And when they take them away, the 15th of Av. So the 15th of all the restrictions that were taken away, and anyone who wants is able to go to Jerusalem. Okay, that's another thing that happened the 15th of Av. Okay, let's go on our next thing. We're up to 1, 2, 3, 4. After the 5th. The 5th thing was that, you see, the Jewish people, okay, they had the temple in Jerusalem for the first temple, and then the wicked king Nebuchadnezzar and his armies destroyed the temple. And when they destroyed the temple, they destroyed many trees. In Israel, so much trouble. They destroyed all the they made a real destruction to the land of Israel. Now, when the Jewish people went up for the second temple, time of Ezra, they set up the Mishkan, set up the temple, and they needed a wood. You know, on the Mizbeach, on the altar, you need to have a fire. They need to have wood. So you have to cut down trees, but there wasn't any trees. It was a whole issue to get trees, right? For their altar. But they did. They got people donated wood. They got wood from far places. It was a whole to do to get wood for the Mizbeach, for the altar. And then actually, when families donated wood and when they brought their wood that day, they made a whole Yom Tov. The family made a celebration because they brought wood for the altar. So what day did they actually stop bringing wood, cutting wood down? They'll cut wood to bring. The day when they completed the wood cutting for the year was on the 15th of Av. Why today? Why the 15th of Av? Because the sun, you see, the sun shines very strong during the summer, and therefore so if that's then it's the worms don't really go in the trees, but when the sun is weakening, the shining of the sun is weakened, then the wood gets more moist, and then the worms get into the trees, and you don't want to use worms. Trees that have worms in it, you can't. Wood that has worms in it, you can't use it for the altar. Actually, they had special kohanim who actually inspect the wood to make sure before they brought an altar to make sure there's no worms. So they called it Yom Tov al Magal, which means the day they broke the Magal, the spear, not spear. I forgot the word. The I'm not axe is not the correct word, but the wood, the Magal is maybe Jubel can give us a good translation for that. But I think it's like a piece that it's a wood. Sorry, like it's a cutter that has like a circle, like a half a circle.
Like a knife.
Yeah, a knife, a special type of knife.
But it's like in the binding of Isaac, it's Makela.
Yeah, magal. It's like a it's like
Is
a
it the
round.
same word as a Makela?
Yeah.
It's a I forgot. It's a sickle they would call it maybe.
No, man. It's called Hermes
Yeah.
or Magal.
Magal in Hebrew. It's a magal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those of you that remember the old Soviet flag, it was on the old Soviet flag.
Okay, so that they called it Yom Taval Magal. They broke the Magal. They actually didn't. So they stopped using it. They stopped cutting the wood for the cutting the because they already had enough for the coming year. That was the last day of cutting the wood, and therefore they made a holiday celebration, and that was on the 15th of Av. Okay, let's go. Still okay, and the last thing, number six is this is quite a story that happened to Jewish people that it was at the time of the destruction of the second temple, which was a king. As you know, the Romans destroyed the temple, and after that there was called the Beta. It was a great revolt against the Roman kings. I think it felt like 60 years after the temple, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a terrible revolt. I think it was Bar Kokhba, if I'm not mistaken. And it was so bad. It was one of the things that happened on Tisha B'av. Another one of the 5 sad things that happened that we count that happened to Jewish people on Tisha B'av. That the Talmud count, the Mishnah count, the Talmud count. Yeah, the Talmud counts those things, and was that they actually millions of Jews were murdered. It was a terrible, terrible, terrible destruction, terrible. Yeah, so ruthless, so cruel, so terrible, and they were so cruel that when they murdered the Jewish people, and they murdered millions, they didn't even give permission to bury the bodies. That's how cruel they were. Can you imagine? You kill those people and you didn't let the rest of the Jewish people bury them. And it's what did the king, whoever they order to take all those bodies, the corpses, and made them walls for their vineyards. Can you imagine? Pile them up. And it was a big, big wall. I read before, how much was it? I think it was like 72 mil, which is a 72 mil, I guess, let's say 50 miles long. Can you imagine? I mean, 72 mil. Mil is like 18 minutes, whatever, a long, I guess like 50 miles. I'm not saying something like that. I'm not exactly something like that of these dead bodies. And they were like that for 22 years. Can you imagine? After that king died, the next one took over, gave permission to bury those bodies. Now, when was the permission granted? The permission was granted on the 15th of Av. And we actually add a verse. We add a blessing in the benching in the Birkat Hamazon. We actually say Baruch Atah Hashem Melech HaTov v'Hametiv. Okay, you say bone Rachamavishalayim Amen Bachatashim Kinama Kena Drena Borena Galena, right? Hatov HaMetiv. We say God, what's the Tov HaMetiv? One is that the God made a miracle that the bodies didn't rot, didn't disintegrate, and they were given permission to be buried. So this thing was happened on the 15th of the month of. So all these happy things happened. I mean, happy. Yeah, well, so we celebrate it in such a way that actually, as I said earlier, there were actually the girls will dance in the vineyards, and many people will find that we blessed and find the marriage their partners, the marriage partners, and this on this special day. Until today, it's a very special celebrated day. So, okay, well, I think we took almost the whole class explaining what's so special about the 15th of the month. There's so much more to talk about that we didn't have. Okay, I think, please God, next time we will discuss the specialties and the things we learn from it and of this 15th of the month. And I guess we will continue, please God, next week. Thanks for joining, and we'll continue, please God. Be well.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Rabbi.
Thank you.